Have you ever heard a story so horrifying, so unjust, so brutally real that your heart pauses for a moment and you wonder how human beings could be capable of such darkness? Because what you're about to hear is not just a tragedy, not just a crime, not just a nightmare whispered from the past. This is the story of a 14-year-old boy whose name shook the entire world. A boy with an innocent smile, a playful laugh, and a heart far too gentle for the brutality waiting for him. A boy whose body was pulled from a river so destroyed, so unrecognizable, that even his own mother could not identify him, except by the ring on his finger. And here's the part that chills the soul. Everything that happened to him was triggered by something so small, so harmless, so ordinary, that you will struggle to believe it. This is the story America tried to bury, a story that forced the world to open its eyes, a story that still bleeds today. Welcome to Truth and Tales TV, the home of chilling mysteries, forgotten crimes, dark histories, and true life stories that haunt generations. If you haven't subscribed yet, ask yourself, why not? Hit that button now and join the fearless family if your heart is strong enough to handle what comes next. Now, let's go back. Let's return to the summer of 1955, the summer the world lost Emmett Till. Emmett Louis Till was born in Chicago in 1941, a happy child, a joker, a boy who stuttered slightly when nervous, so he sometimes used humor to hide it. Everyone remembered his bright smile, the kind of smile that warmed a room. At 14, Emmett wanted one thing, to visit his cousins in Mississippi for the summer. But his mother, Mamie Till, hesitated. She knew the South was different, harsher, crueler, dangerous for a young black boy who didn't understand the unwritten rules designed to trap him. She warned him gently, "Emmett, please be careful. Don't talk too freely. Don't joke around too much. Just be safe." Emmett promised he would. He didn't know that he had just stepped onto the path of a tragedy the world would never forget. On August 24th, Emmett and his cousins walked to a small rural store called Bryant's Grocery, a simple place with a creaking wooden porch and a dusty screen door. Inside was a young white woman named Carolyn Bryant. What happened in those few seconds will forever be debated. Some say Emmett whistled playfully, some say he joked, some say he merely bought candy and walked out. But in Mississippi in 1955, even a smile could be twisted into a threat, and it was. Within hours, lies spread like poison. Within days, anger turned into hatred, and hatred turned into a plan. Just after 2 a.m., while the house slept, headlights cut through the dark. A truck rolled to a stop. Doors slammed, boots stomped across the dirt. Roy Bryan and J.W. Milam burst inside the house with guns. Everyone woke up in panic. Children cried, women begged. Emmett's great-uncle pleaded for mercy, but the men didn't care. They grabbed Emmett from his bed, dragged him out into the night, shoved him into the back of the truck, and vanished into the darkness. No one ever saw Emmett Till alive again. What happened next was so monstrous that historians sometimes struggle to describe it. For hours, Emmett was beaten, tortured, humiliated, brutalized in ways no child should ever experience. And in the end, his young life was stolen and his body thrown into the Tallahatchie River, tied to a 75-pound cotton gin fan with barbed wire around his neck. 3 days later, a fisherman spotted something floating in the water, a bloated, damaged, horrifying shape, a body so disfigured that only a small ring, engraved with his father's initials, revealed who he was. When Mamie Till received Emmett's body, she collapsed. No mother should ever see what she saw. But then, she did something that changed the world. She said, "Let the whole world see what they did to my boy." She demanded an open casket funeral, and the world saw. Thousands viewed his body. Millions saw the photos. People cried. People screamed. People trembled. But no one looked away. Emmett Till's death became the spark that ignited the civil rights movement, a spark that forced the world to confront its own cruelty. But justice never came. The two men were arrested, tried before an all-white jury, and declared not guilty. One juror bragged afterwards, "It would have been quicker, but we stopped to get a soda." Months later, the two men sold their confession to a magazine, bragging openly without shame, because they knew they were protected. They would never be punished, but their crime would follow them forever, because Emmett Till's name became a symbol, a warning, a reminder of what hatred, lies, and silence can do. And that is why we're telling his story today. So what do we learn from this tragedy? We learn that hatred is learned and must be unlearned. We learn that silence is dangerous and speaking up is power. We learn that justice is fragile and must be protected. And we learn that even a child, a boy with a bright smile, can change a nation when the truth about his suffering is brought to light. Emmett Till did not live to see justice, but he changed the world anyway. If this story moved you, imagine the other forgotten truths waiting for you here. Subscribe to Truth in Tales TV right now. Your support helps us uncover more real-life mysteries, dark histories, and chilling tales the world must never forget. Hit that button, join the fearless family, and keep the memory of Emmett Till alive by refusing to look away.